make sure you get this fat on a carnivore diet. Hey, what's shaking bacon? I hope you're doing well. So I'd really appreciate it if you would give this video a like and if you could comment and even subscribe. It doesn't take much effort on your part, but it really supports the channel. I really appreciate it. Thanks. So to the topic at hand, when you're doing a carnivore diet, you want to make sure you're getting enough fat in your diet, but you also want to make sure you're getting the right types of fat as well. So a lot of people focus on animal fat, which is great. I think you can get pretty much everything you need off animal fat. But there's one particular fat you may want to start ingesting. It doesn't have to be every day, but you can try getting it every 2 or 3 days. It's a little on the expensive side, but it's going to really help for a lot of different problems that people have. And this is cod liver oil. You know how people put oils on their skins or creams or lotions? You can do that. And in certain cases, it's beneficial to do that. But if you're doing that because you want to keep the skin looking young, or you think it's just beneficial for the skin and you're putting it on the skin, I think you're doing it wrong. You're supposed to be taking it orally. You're supposed to be drinking some every day, whether you take it in a capsule form or you take it on a tablespoon or teaspoon. You want to make sure you're ingesting it. There's a huge difference because when you're putting it on your skin, you're robbing your body of doing its own job. That might sound kind of new age and hippie, but it's true. If you put that stuff on your skin, think of a chapstick. When you take chapstick, when you put chapstick on your lips, once you start doing that, you have to do it for like the rest of the winter because your lips are dry. They're nice and moist now that we have something on them, and we don't have to produce the natural oils that go out to the skin to keep it moist. So the body just sits back. Just like I was talking about with hormones, when you take a hormone supplement, it means the body doesn't have to work as hard to do that job because it's getting it from an outside source. And all the body cares about is what it's getting for feedback when it's putting the feelers out there for what the body needs at any given time. And whether it has to produce something on its own or something's being provided for it, then it's at the proper level, everything's okay. And if something's being provided for the body, like you're putting oil on your skin because you want to get rid of a dry patch or something like that, or you want to keep the skin nice and moist, well, the body's not going to do that on its own. And then you become reliant on that. But if you're taking something like fish oil, specifically cod liver oil, orally, what happens is your body's going to go, okay, and the nutrients you get from the oil is going to go through the body and do the jobs they need to keep everything in balance. But when you're putting it on, you're robbing your body of that ability to do it on its own. You want to make sure your body can do it. So how I was first reminded of this was for years and years, I had really dry, frizzy hair. Like it was brittle. If I gave myself a brush cut, my hair just wouldn't relax. It was standing on end. Even when it got to be like an inch long, it looked really stupid. So I had to keep my hair really short. And what was happening was it's a symptom of hypothyroidism where your hair gets dry and brittle. And I was using different types of conditioners. I was using different types of lotions in my hair just to keep it moist and kind of relaxed. And after a while, somebody at one of these places I went to said, well, why don't you just start taking fish oil? And as soon as she said that, I thought, son of a gun. I learned that in college, what fish oil does for the body. And I thought, okay, like, yeah, I should just start doing that. So I went out and got oil pills from like Costco. And it was pretty good because the price was good at Costco and they worked pretty well. And I found that I needed more in the winter because I would still get dry elbows, dry knuckles and hands and skin in the winter, and it'd start getting itchy. And when I doubled up in the winter, instead of taking say 2 pills in the morning, I would take 2 pills in the morning, 2 pills at night. And eventually I went up to 3 pills. And I thought, wow, this works really good. And I was going through quite a bit of fish oil capsules, but it didn't really matter because it was quite affordable. But it made a dramatic difference in things like my hair, skin, and nails. As a massage therapist, I always had to kind of pay attention to my nails because, you know, they would crack and I'd get like lots of little hangnails on my skin. But when I was getting enough fish oil, that really wasn't an issue for me. A funny little story, I bought a bunch of salmon because it was on sale and there's a limit to what you could buy. So I went in every single day of that week and bought as much salmon as I could. We chopped them up and we put them in little freezer bags. We put them in the freezer. We were having salmon about 3 or 4 times a week. Now I'm one of those people, I could eat the same thing every day if it tastes great. But you know what? My ex-wife couldn't. And by the end of the winter, this was the funniest thing. By the end of the winter, she was like, I'm done with it. We were having sashimi. We were having barbecued salmon. We were frying it in a pan. We were having it with rice. We were having sushi. We were doing all these creative things with it and it tasted great. And by the end of the winter, she was like, I'm done with salmon. She couldn't handle having that much of it. And the interesting thing about that was, even though she was done with salmon, she said that winter, she had the softest hair. It was just like really shiny and it grew really easily. And she was like, this is awesome. She got tired of the salmon, but she loved the effects of having all that fish in her diet. So it wasn't long after that I started taking the fish oil. And when I did that, I noticed a difference in my own skin and hair. And I was like, this is pretty cool. You know, I'm going to start doing this regularly. And eventually I got turned on to cod liver oil, fresh out of the jar. And I take a tablespoon or two of it. And I know what you're thinking. Ooh, that's gross. You know what? It doesn't really have a flavor. It really doesn't. And you can get it lemon flavored in case you're sensitive to the flavor. So it really wasn't an issue. And here's what I noticed when I started taking a good quality cod liver oil versus just taking fish oil from Costco. That was fine. It did its job. Like I said, I doubled up in the winters on it. But when I started taking this cod liver oil, I was sometimes forgetting to take it. And I noticed I was only taking it once every 2 or 3 days in the winter. And I'd take maybe a couple teaspoons at a time. And when I was doing that, it was still working better than the fish oil I was taking from Costco. So I was like, okay, now I know different types of fish oils do different things. Krill oil is supposed to be really good for joints, but you know what? Cod liver oil is supposed to be really good for joints too. It's on the more expensive side compared to the stuff you're getting from Costco, but you don't have to take as much of it. And I noticed after I did my dry fast a few weeks ago that I have a little dry patch of skin on my elbow for no reason. And I was like, I wonder how much that dry fast had an effect on that, because I haven't been taking my cod liver oil since that. You got to keep in mind, cod liver oil is rich in vitamins A and D. And if you have a history of insulin issues, it often messes up your absorption of vitamin D. So you can often have low vitamin D when you have insulin issues. So it's all the more reason to start taking cod liver oil. Now, when you're thinking I can get this in a can, well, you know what? If you're getting it mixed in water, it's probably not as bad, but you don't want to get it mixed in oil because typically they're not using pure cod liver oil. That's why this stuff is so expensive when you buy it, because yeah, it's on the expensive side. It's pure and it's not cut with anything when you get it from a good company. So it's worth waiting for a sale and get a couple bottles when you do, so that way you don't have to pay full price the next time you buy a bottle. You can save some money that way. Another thing it's good for is inflammation. Not only is it good for thicker nails, shinier hair, healthier hair, as well as just better skin, it also seems to be good for inflammation. If you deal with joint pain, something like this might be good for you to take. Now, you might notice a difference within a few weeks. It might take a couple months. I'm not sure. Everyone's going to be different with that, but it's worth taking. And because you're getting all these other benefits, and because of the vitamin D as well, don't forget that's also going to be good for your bones. So we want to make sure that our bones are stronger the older we get. Now, you always want to give your bones and your muscles reasons to absorb these nutrients you put in your body. If you're lying around all day doing nothing, well, you know what? It's going to go in your body, but how much of it is just going to flush out? You want to give your body a reason to absorb this stuff. And a little walk a few times a day might just do the trick. So it's apparently also supposed to reduce heart disease risk when you get your healthy omega-3s. So it's going to help your HDL and it's supposed to lower your triglycerides. Now, I've noticed that when I've been on a strict regime of cod liver oil every day or every second day after a few months, and I get my blood work tested, my triglycerides and HDL are better than when I do, say, a strict lion diet without it. So now if I do a strict lion diet at any point, I will supplement it with cod liver oil. I think it's just an all-around great supplement. It's still just a fat. So it's one of those fats that for me with hypothyroidism, even though I've been medicated for all these years, it still doesn't get rid of all the symptoms. And I find it just helps top everything up. Back from a vitamin D point of view, it might also help symptoms of depression and anxiety. So keep in mind, you want to try and tackle something like that every way possible. If you're watching this, you're paying attention to it from a carnivore perspective, and this isn't off a carnivore diet. It's an animal product. It's easy to add to your diet. It doesn't take much work, and it's something you can get in the habit of doing in the mornings. I would definitely take a teaspoon in the mornings. I would definitely take it every second day in the summer, and in the winter, I would make sure to take it every day. And I think that's probably enough for most people, and play it by ear. Maybe you can get by with every third day and still get lots of health benefits and help space that bottle out over a longer window of time, just because it is on the more expensive side. Go on Amazon, you'll find it, a cod liver oil in a green bottle, and you'll notice that it's going to be beneficial to you. You'll notice that after a few weeks, your hair is just going to be softer. I hadn't felt my hair get that soft since I was a teenager, when I just had naturally normal texture to my hair. Anyway, those are just some of the benefits as to why you should take cod liver oil and why you should take it orally and not put oils on your skin. You have to get out of that habit. Yeah, that's beneficial to a certain degree, but you're undermining your body's natural ability to do that job itself when you start putting oils and lotions on your skin. Do it from within, and your body's going to be better off for it. Thanks a lot. I appreciate you watching the video to the end. Take care.